Yeah, well, I started serving in the church with Beth, my lovely wife, back in 1982, I think it was. We were going to church in Southern California, and there was a group of disabled children who needed some extra help. So we kind of said, okay, we can do that, raised our hands. Next thing you know, we're doing puppets for them every week and having all this fun, and it was a blast. And that's where we learned, oh, this is a talent that we have, this is something we like to do, so let's keep doing it. Then I got a job in Northern California, so we had to uproot and come all the way up here. And as it turns out, the church we started there, puppets were part of that too. So that's when I first learned about service. And then when we started with a smaller church before we came to Northgate, both Beth and I sang on the worship team. Nobody else was doing it, so I just kind of said, okay, let's do this. So I did that, and we had a nice little combo group going for a while. And when we did come to Northgate here, eventually, we were still down in the industrial park, we sang on the worship team there and kind of started doing video and some other things. And I don't know, it's just ever since that first experience of helping kids, it's always been about use what God's given you to do it. Now, I didn't necessarily understand what it was I was gifted with at the time, but since I've learned, I started teaching classes here, and one that kept coming back at me was finding your fit. And we needed to have somebody teaching Find Your Fit. And it's a way to sit down and help others figure out who they are, how God's made them, and what He wants them to do with what He's given them. So many stories of people just getting involved, and whether it was one thing or a couple of things. So service has been something that I do. And I do it a lot, but I also try to help the leader do whatever the ministry is. I try to help them be a better leader just by A, taking things off the plate, and B, just encouraging them, because that's what I do for a living. I'm always working with people in leadership roles, things like that. So I try to help them with that. Why I'm passionate about connecting people with their gifts and their talents, abilities, and everything else is that when you read scriptures like Romans 12 and 1 Corinthians 12, you read about the body of Christ. And the idea is that we need you. We need people to express their gifts. Without them, we're limping around, you might say. Where I've seen it, where it's felt comfortable, felt like, okay, we're in the zone kind of a thing, has been with things like Rooted. The whole concept of, oh, I want to check this out, because this is going to show me where we're going in the sense of what it is to be a believer beyond just the mission statement and vision and all that, but like digging deeper. And then I looked at when I did it the first time, I was sitting there going, well, this is kind of basic. And what I found out was that doing the group as a group member allowed me to see how others viewed the same things I've, quote, known forever, the same things, and seeing things in depth that I had no idea. And I went, oh. So I talked to Beth, and I said, why don't we lead a group next time? She went, okay. So we led a group, and it was amazing. Again, went through the same material. Everything's the same, right? But the people are different, and that's where we started seeing, okay, this is where we need to be. But when we're talking about it from God's point of view, service isn't a matter of duty or compunction, or it's really not something you have to do. You can choose not to do it, and I'm sure many people choose not to do it, or they say, I'll get to it someday. Service is fulfilling who God is. That's where we're supposed to start, is get our relationship together with God. Once we start seeing how He's relating to us and what's going on, we're able to help others much easier. Okay, you've got these talents that I'm aware of, you've got these abilities that you've talked about, have you thought about? Have you thought about? And trying to encourage in that direction. And the only reason I would stick with saying, I suppose is my final word on service, is that it's something that pleases God. And if we're here to honor God as we're serving others, what more can we do? What better can we do?